Hey, what's up, everybody? It is March 23rd, 2020, which means we are ready for TNT today. Yeah, we had to make a, a little bit of a modification to our name because given our current situation, all right, there's plenty of time to be able to go out there and do some more video tutorials like this. There's also a lot more time that we have to be able to possibly go out there and model. So if you're a student, maybe you're one of the lucky ones, you got away with the laptop, maybe with Inventor installed, maybe you have a computer at home where you were able to download Inventor or possibly get Fusion, or you just might be using, just your one-to-one technology, whether that's a Chromebook or an iPad. Maybe you're using Onshape or some web-based CAD program like that. I hope you have those capabilities, and if you do, that means you also have the capability of going out there and creating a lot of different things. You're modeling, you're assembling, you're creating drawings, and I'm hoping you're keeping up with that. And so that's what I'm going to be sort of using these episodes from here on out, is just to go out there and just pick up just everyday items that you can find within your house and go out there and simply model them. So a lot of you, if you're kind of thinking about that right now, you're like, well, I don't have dial calipers. That's okay. All right. We're just wanting some sort of a reference to go out there and keep things proportional. All right. More than likely, you probably have one of these laying around your house. That's going to be a ruler. Maybe you have a tape measure. All right. And if you don't, that's okay, because here's what I have learned. All right, I know on my finger, one segment from wrinkle or crease to crease in my finger is just about 1 inch. All right, so I constantly use that as a reference when going out there and keeping things proportional. All right, I don't care if you measure it and it's not 1 inch, it's okay. All right, it just gives you a really, really good reference, a sort of a benchmark, and how you can go out there and start developing this stuff and keeping things proportional. So with that being said, there's all sorts of stuff around your house that you can go out there and model. Just take a look. All right, a lot of really interesting gadgets that you find in the garage or in the kitchen will give you that opportunity to go out there and really try out your skills and really sort of go out there and sharpen your skill set. So here are some examples. Okay, so here is an interesting looking pencil. That's a carpenter's pencil, way different, really weird looking profile. So that's kind of cool. We might take a look at that. Any sort of cans, yes, any of the soda cans, pop cans, flavored water cans you have around your house, those would be really good examples. Today I was just playing around with creating an ice cream scoop. Yeah, it looks pretty crazy, huh? Yeah, it was actually kind of fun to actually create. Something as simple as a pencil. You have pens, you have markers. Okay, there's measuring scoops or spoons. Those would be good. You also have really fun things like this. That's just a whisk right out of the kitchen. But if you go out there and you open the drawers, or if you open up, cabinets or tool chests or whatever, there's all sorts of stuff we can go out there and continue on doing some CAD modeling. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be taking a look at this one. We're going to start out with something simple that's just a measuring spoon. And we're going to kind of go from there. So let's go ahead, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and just start up with a standard inch IPT. I'm going to go out there and create that. I'm going to start a 2D sketch, pick on any plane, does not matter. And now I'm going to go ahead and start, with my ruler or, tape measure, or just referencing, like I was talking about earlier, just with the finger, sort of what those measurements are. So when taking a look at this, I can see that this is like a diameter, 1.25 for the actual scoop on the end of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out here and create my circle, and that's going to be a diameter of 1.25. I started that from the origin. And then now what I'm going to do is go ahead and just draw a line starting from down here at the bottom. I'm going to take that to the center point. I'm going to clip this over just like so, and now I'm going to come in here and trim that out. I can finish that sketch, do a revolve, go ahead and use this as my axis and the full extent all the way around, and say okay. All right, so I'm going to have to go out there and haul that out, so I'm going to go ahead and use shell. I'm going to pick the top of this, and then just taking a look at that, I don't know, we'll just call that a 1/16 of an inch for my thickness, and I'm going to go ahead and just say okay. All right, so just that fast, we have that scoop already done on the end of it. All right, so taking a look at my measuring scoop here, all right, I have a handle on it. So I need to really go out there and just sort of reference what this is going to be for the handle. So the handle is really going to go out there about 3.5 inches from the center point of that actual scoop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to the origin folder. I'm going to go ahead and just turn on a plane. It could be that one, or it could be something that looks similar to it. So not that, but possibly that. I'm going to go out there and just turn that on with visibility. I'm going to start a 2D sketch. I'm going to come right here to that actual plane. I'm going to pick, hold, and drag. I'm going to be bringing that out a distance of 3.5. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. All right, and now that's going to go ahead and just give me a work plane that I can work off of. All right, so up here underneath rectangle, okay, we can go out there and we can see that slot. We have a couple different versions of slot that we can use. So I'm going to come here to center point slot, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just track this off the center point, bring this down, keep that directly below it, and I'm just going to bring this over. So when I'm kind of looking at that actual handle itself, I can see that's approximately 1/2 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and just bring that over half of that, which would be 0.25. And then I can go ahead and just bring this up, and the thickness on that is like 1/16 of an inch. We'll just call it that, and we'll just say that's that. So that's done. So now I can dimension from the center point here, okay, to this center point here, which is going to be 1/2 of a 16th, which would be 0.03125. Just remember, at any point in time, if you know what that distance is of 0.0625, you can go ahead and just divide that by 2, and that's going to slide that right up there to the top. So I have the approximate dimensions I'm looking for, so I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. And now what I'm going to do is go ahead and do an extrude. I'm going to send this into the other direction, make sure it's a join, and just send this to next and say OK. All right, so we have that handle that's on there. I'm now going to start a 2D sketch. I'm going to come here to the end, and now what I'm going to do is go ahead and project some geometry. I'm going to draw a line, start it from here and go down to here. And now I'm basically just going to trace right over the top of this. I know I went out there and projected geometry, but the problem is it's going to get confused on what profile it actually wants me to use. And I'm going to go ahead just with an arc, or I could use circle, it doesn't matter, I could trim it, but I'm going to go ahead and use arc and just trace right over the top of it, finish the sketch, and now I can go ahead and do a revolve, okay, and it's going to be of that profile, a red arrow for the axis, send this all the way around, and instead of this being a full extents, I could say angle and just say, hey, go 180 degrees like so, and go ahead and say okay. All right, so we have that. So we have some work planes that are on. I'm going to go ahead and start shutting those down, just turning the visibility off on those. Okay, and now when I take a look at the actual handle itself, I can see that there is a slot there. Okay, so we could use slot feature on that. So I'm going to go ahead and start a 2D sketch right here on the face. And I'm going to go ahead and use project geometry. And when I use project geometry, it's going to be showing me where the center point of that revolve that I just created, where that is actually at. So instead of using the slot that I just used a second ago, which was center point, I'm going to come down here and go center to center slot. Okay, so once we have that selected, I can go ahead and start that right at that center point, and I can go ahead now and just start guesstimating how far that is, and it looks like that's about 1/2 of an inch. So I'm going to go ahead and just say I want that second center point to be 1/2 inch away from it, and now I can go ahead and expand this out, and I can see that that slot, just by kind of looking at it, is about 1/4 inch wide, and I go ahead and just finish that up. So finish the sketch, I can do an extrude, I want that slot to be a cut, and I'm just going to say all and OK. All right, so just some cosmetic stuff that we have to do. We have some fillets that we want to put around this, so we can go into fillet, and I could say that that first fillet is going to be there, way too much. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just drop that down probably to like 1/32 of an inch, which would be 0.03125. I say OK. And I can go ahead here on the back side of this and go with the fillet again and just grab that, make that 0.03125 like so. And then taking a look at the actual slot, we can come in here and, I might make that a little bit less, like 0.01. I could do it on that side, and then flip this over on the bottom. I can go ahead and apply that 0.01 there as well, just to round those over. Okay, so this would be a really, really cool example of going out there and using emboss if you'd like. So you could start a 2D sketch at this point, and then flip this over. I could come up here, go to text, and then just go out here and put in whatever my text needs to be. So I'm going to say, hey, TNT today, maybe PLTW or something like that. I could go out there and specify what my justification is, and say, I don't know, maybe I want this to be 0.25 inches or 1/4 of an inch for my height, and just go ahead and say OK. All right, so that goes in. All right, at this point in time, if you need to, okay, we can go out there. Let's just drop that down to oops. let's try it again. TNT today, and I want that to be 0.125. We'll make it 1/8 of an inch this time and say okay. All right, so there it is. So we can finish that sketch, go into emboss, pick on that. Okay, we could say that is raised, 0.1. We could tell what we want that top appearance to be like. You know, maybe we want it to be some sort of gold or whatever and say okay. All right, and there we go. Once again, if you don't know, what that needs to be, okay, you can always just tinker with that to where you want it. We'll just say it's 0.01, so it's going to be raised just slightly. But you could go ahead and put the actual, label or whatever text is on that. In my case, this is a half tablespoon. All right, so I can go ahead and just pop that in. So at this point, you could go ahead and add some material to it. But, once again, we're just trying to go out there. We don't need drawings to follow and dimensions. Some of them, the best part about the software is look at the name. The actual name of the software is Inventor. So go out there and invent things or reinvent things. Go out there, grab things out of drawers, the kitchen, the garage, cabinets, whatever, and have some fun with it. So there you go. That is the first TNT today. And hope you all have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.